So, Chennedy Carter, Chicago Sky's best player, is a restricted free agent. And we have heard nothing when it comes to the Chicago Sky from or about Chennedy Carter. And we've heard nothing about whether or not they plan on keeping her. We've heard nothing about anything with her with the Sky. And it raises the question of, is Chennedy Carter going to be staying with the Chicago Sky? Because this is a really tricky one when it comes to the WNBA. And I'm seeing some people talking about Chennedy Carter potentially playing for the Fever. No, never. And I think she would say the same thing. Never. I'm seeing people saying Chennedy Carter and the Fever would be unfair. As a player, Chennedy Carter on the Fever would be unbelievable. But first of all, her and Kelsey Mitchell can't really be on the floor at the same time. And second of all, when Chennedy Carter has her shit together, for lack of a better word, a way of describing it, she is an incredible player. That has happened for exactly one season in her WNBA career. She was kicked off 2 teams and out of the league for a year, despite being one of the most talented guards in the W. Chennedy Carter is one of those players that it's hard, every single person has played one of those players that are super talented, but it's all in their head. As in, if they're in the wrong headspace, they become a detriment to your team. And the reality of the situation is, Chennedy Carter would not work well in Indiana. The Sky is the perfect place for her. Not only that, she wants to be there. The problem is that if she does not stay with the Chicago Sky, I think she's out of the league. Genuinely. I think that she is out of the league if she's not with the Sky. And I think that the reality of the situation is that she's going to be back there or nowhere. I understand a lot of people talking about Chennedy Carter going to the Fever from a pure basketball standpoint would be an unbelievable fit. First of all, I don't think she shoots the 3 ball well enough to even be a debate whether or not you would keep Chennedy Carter or would you take Chennedy Carter over Kelsey Mitchell. I think Chennedy Carter's a better fit for the Sky. I think Mitchell's a better fit for, as far as basketball wise, for the Fever. But this is all stemming from the fact that Tyler Marsh said that Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese are the cornerstones of their franchise. And you might be saying, oh, Chennedy Carter's in China. She's a restricted free agent. But it's so is Michaela Onyenwere. And I'm not entirely sure. I think Onyenwere has been mentioned. But that might just be because she's in America. She's in America. She's not over in China. But if you've seen Chennedy Carter in China, she has been she's been wearing Chicago Sky merch. She does not want to leave. She absolutely does not want to leave. One interesting thing could be if the Sky don't want her, when I was maybe she'd be out of the league. Her going to the Sun might not be the worst thing in the world. But I think the big reason why Tyler Marsh is not mentioning Chennedy Carter is that I think the Chicago Sky are still probably undecided on whether or not they want to keep her. I think they're probably going to want to watch her play in China. But Chennedy Carter is, if we want to talk about pure skill, the most skilled guards in the W are her and Enrique. They are. I'm sorry, look, Caitlin Clark's unbelievable when it comes from shooting from 30. Man, she's not doing this. Chennedy Carter's handle is so nice. She's so quick. She's a freaking blur. She can be in the right. Again, when she's at her best, she's one of the best guards in the W. So, it's just one of those things where I think her reputation is probably causing more issues than what she had done last season. Because I think that when it comes to Carter, that it all depends on who the new coach, it all depends on Tyler Marsh. It all depends on what he wants to do. And it all depends on what the Chicago Sky, whether or not they're in the tankathon. If the Chicago Sky are in the tankathon, you let Chennedy Carter walk. But like, she's there overseas in Chicago Sky gear. She does not want to leave. But if you are the Chicago Sky and your whole thing is, we want to be in that Juju Watkins sweepstakes, and then we want to go for it. Then we want to go for it. Because if you want to look at, again, for next season, so they didn't make the playoffs this year. They're unlikely to make the playoffs next year. And like, this is just, the Liberty are going to be better than the Sky. The Lynx are going to be better than the Sky. The Sun don't have their 2026 pick. So no matter what happens, the Sun are going to, they're still going to have Dejanay. They're still going to have Marina Mabry. They're probably going to have, they're either going to have Alyssa Thomas and Dwana Bonner, or they're going to have Bree Jones. And then they're probably going to get one or two good players in free agency. They're still going to have Ty Harris. So like, the Sun are going to be, I think the Sun are going to be a lower team in the playoffs, but they're going to be in it. The Aces are going to be better than the Sky. The Storm are going to be better. The Fever are going to be better. The Mercury, again, they're another team that have to be good. Because I'm pretty sure the Sky, again, when it comes to their pick, they have like a swap. Whichever of these two picks are higher, I think. I don't know what way it is, but I think the Sky might own their pick as well for 2026. So it's like, the Mercury have to be good. They're going to be better than the Sky. The Atlanta Dream hired a really good coach, but I'd be iffy on if they are or not better than the Sky. The Wings, I'm not entirely sure. It all depends on Satu, but it's likely that the top 8 are the top 8 again. Like it is. Like with Ryan Howard, the Atlanta Dream were way better. So it's likely the top 8 are the top 8. And if you're the Chicago Sky, let's say you end up as the 3rd worst team next year. The last thing you want to do is have 2 back-to-back non-playoff years and make the playoffs in the Juju Hannah Hidalgo year. Like, that's the last thing you want to do. So, and you don't want to have too many wins next year if that's what your goal is. And it really all depends on what their goal is. If your goal is you want to scrape into the playoffs as an 8th seed, 7th seed at best next year, lose in the first round, then the following year, hope maybe that you can get in as like a 5th seed, because it becomes, if you bring Chennedy Carter back, you have to build around Chennedy Carter. Like it is, you have to build around these two players. Like for example, if you have Chennedy Carter back, you can't draft Olivia Moss. You can't draft Anissa Morrow. Because Chennedy Carter is, Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso are all non-shooters. And which means you have to draft a shooter. So it really it all depends again on what they want. And I think they're going to wait till the draft lottery to make that decision too. Because like, for example, if you end up getting the number 2 pick, it allows you to choose whoever you want. You're not going to take Kikiri FN, but you're probably going to be looking at Olivia Miles. You're probably going to be looking at Anissa Morrow at LSU. And I'm sorry, you cannot play Chennedy Carter, Anissa Morrow / Olivia Miles, Angel Reese, and Camila Cardoso. Like Olivia Miles, like a 25% 3-point shooter. Like that lineup, that you just can't do that. So if they end up getting the 4th pick, maybe they're looking at it. Look, Miles is going to be off the board. Morrow might be off the board. It doesn't seem crazy to take a Citron or a Pow Pow with the 4th pick, or someone else coming through more of a shooter, or an Aja Sivka. So then, if you do go and take a Citron or a Sivka, and then you, in free agency, are like, you know what, let's go and get that vet point guard, we're trying to win. Let's say they have Citron at the 3, and then you probably bring Onion Ware off the bench. You've got, like, say, you go and get like a Sloot or something at the 1, who can kind of run the show and get Chennedy Carter the ball when she wants and can shoot a little bit, and will hit Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso. We'll hit Angel Reese on her seals. We'll get Cardoso to where get her touches where she wants it, or even if not a Sloot, like a Julie Van Loo or something. Like that type of a lineup could work. That type of a team could really, really work. But the problem is that if you do keep Chennedy Carter and you're committing to keeping Chennedy Carter, you have to, you can't go best available in the draft. You have to go shooting. You have to go all shooting. And also the fact is that Tyler Marsh has talked about how much he wants the team to be shooters. And as good as a mid-range shooter she is, Chennedy Carter is not a good three-point shooter. Like, I know she hit 1 or 2 last year. She shot like 20% in the year. She's just eradicated it from her game. She does not shoot threes. So that's the issue, is like, if he wants the team to shoot a lot of threes, you can't just have 5 bricklayers out there. And that's kind of what the problem is, that the shooting guard that they needs to be a shooter if Tyler Marsh is serious about shooting threes. So yeah, the Chennedy Carter one's weird. There's no way she's going to Indiana. Dear Lord. Like, Chennedy Carter wouldn't do it herself. But I do think a situation playing for someone like the Sun, I would say the Sun could help, but like, she also did effectively punch Marina Mabrey in the head. She like closed fist smacked her top of the head, like. So I don't think she'll be too happy playing with Marina Mabrey. But honestly, if she's committed, if she is a coach that likes her, that wants her, and is as good with her as Teresa Weatherspoon was, honestly, if somehow if the Aces go and somehow hire Teresa Weatherspoon, I'm sorry, I am doing anything I can to get Chennedy Carter. And Teresa Weatherspoon, her job is to basically be the Carter whisperer. Chennedy Carter, anytime she gets angry, straight to teaspoon. Anytime something's going wrong, straight to teaspoon. And then you've suddenly got the best 6 woman in the entire WNBA. Yeah, either way, that is the video. That is my opinion on the Chennedy Carter situation. I do think she is Chicago Sky's best player, but the problem is that there is definitely a fit issue with her, Cardoso, and Angel Reese. And it's not that you can't have the 3 of them on the floor at the same time, but if you do have the 3 of them on the floor at the same time, you basically, to be any good, you need to have 2 of the best shooters in the WNBA beside them, for a coach who says he wants more shooting out of his players. And unfortunately, Chicago Sky don't have that roster unless they want to start Rachel Banham the entire year and drafts, and then they could end up just overshooting and taking a pow at 3. Like, that's what you're going to have to do. But for Sky fans, if you want Olivia Miles, if you want an Anissa Morrow, the only way that works is if they are the other non-shooters. Like, you can't, in my opinion, you probably can't even have 3 non-shooters on the floor, but you definitely can't have 4. So anyway, that is the video. See you guys.